my name is Vesna, and this is a very quick showcase of my portfolio. So the first two pieces are the main focus of the portfolio, and the other ones are just to show what I'm doing in my free time. So this is the general information about me and what software I use. So first, I'm going to talk about the game that is called GIF, which is a furniture assembly simulator, which has two trailers. First, I'm going to show you the storyboard for the concept trailer, which is the hand-drawn animation one. This is a general storyboard. You can pause and take a quick look at it. I ended up not using those 5 frames due to the time constraints, and I changed the drawing angles on some of the frames for the ease of drawing because I had very limited time to create the trailer. It took me around 3 days. So the next storyboard is for the game trailer itself, and it changed a lot during the production, but the time constraints were very tight, so I did not make a final storyboard. This is just what the trailer was supposed to look like. You can also watch the trailer and take a look at it. These are some of the animations that I made in Spine for the EKF tutorization system. They show the player how to use the controller pretty much. Next piece is the written storyboarding. Let's first watch the cutscene for the game itself. The game is called Spring Equinox, and this is a Metroidvania platformer that is based on a very well known Slavic fairy tale called Kolobok. The cutscene starts from the description of the 4 spirits that ruled the seasons and how people cherish the 3 spirits, the summer, autumn, and spring, yet they were afraid of the oldest spirit, winter, because it only brought unhappiness and darkness with it. So people were talking among themselves how good it would be to get rid of the winter. And so winter left. And for the first couple of years, people lived in harmony. But then when the restless fields stopped bearing fruit, people understood that they made a mistake. So they were calling for the winter spirit back. And to make it come, they were sacrificing the little food that they had. And this is the overview of the game itself. This is how it looks. You play as like this little bread who can go and read different descriptions. So the interesting part of this is that the storyboard is written, so it's more of a script than the storyboard. It is contained in this big document that is called a narrative document, and I attached it into the written version of the portfolio. Um, this is how the original storyboard for the cutscene that I just showed you looked. And later, this storyboard inspires the poem that the final cutscene was based on. I'm going to show you the poem as well. So this is a closer look. And this is the poem and the description of how pictures for the poem should look like, and that's what you saw. So another interesting thing happens when the cutscene finishes and we see the bread that is on the window shell that jumps off and goes on an adventure. So originally the window shell bread had its own cutscene that explained the movement to the player, but we did not have enough time to implement it. So the storyboard did not make it into the final product. So the final thing that I'd like to show you is how I scripted the NPC behavior and the NPC animation. So as you can see, the bread talks to the little fox NPC, then there is some text happening, and eventually the fox starts moving according to the script and according to the phrases that she says. So to explain to the artists and programmers how to implement it and what assets we needed and when these assets were meant to be played, I created this little script that explains the dialogue that the fox says and shows what animation should play at any time in the sequence. In this part, I'm going to elaborate on the trailers that I advise you to watch in my cover letter. To start off, this is a storyboard that I made for a student project that unfortunately did not make it into the final game because the game did not happen. But it features the futuristic escape room where the main character is a prisoner and he tries to escape the Robocop, and it shows the setting of the game before the main game starts. You can take a quick look at it. All of the frames are explained with the red text on them. Those 4 videos do not have storyboards because they were created within the time frame of the game jam. So I spent maximum 1-2 hours on each of them. However, this specific trailer to the other side is actually an in-game cutscene, and we can watch it over here. So this cutscene was created using in-game scripting tools of a very small engine called Bitsy, and it took me around like 15 minutes to implement the whole thing after the assets were done. This is a solo project, so I drew, wrote, and implemented everything. That's how the game itself looks. So you can use WASD to move arrows, and then as a little spirit, you go and chase after the Grim Reaper who forgot you behind. The last part of my portfolio are the comic frames that I draw for myself on my free time. So this is the most recent comic that I started to draw a couple of days ago. It features myself after I moved to Finland, and as you can see, when I draw comic frames, I make a quick mock-up of the story that I'm going to tell. Those are two of the other frames. This is a comic that I draw around a year ago, and unfortunately, I got tired of it, so I never posted it anywhere. But here I was trying out different storytelling styles where the top one is more scattered and the bottom one is frame by frame, created specifically for Instagram. That is pretty much all. Thank you very much for taking a look at my portfolio, and I wish you a nice day. Bye bye.